Welcome to the special in-studio broadcast of Business Talk here at businesstech.co's HQ. I'm Michael Avery. Great to be with you. And in studio today, a great pleasure to welcome the CEO of Konica Minolta South Africa, Marc Pillay, an iconic organization. Marc, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
With one of our favorite sons as one of your former employees. I'm not sure how many people are aware that Rassie Erasmus, double World Cup winning coach, used to work for Konica Minolta.
Yes, Rusty's got two links into Konica Minolta. He used to play for the Cheetahs, who we've been sponsoring for many years. And he used to work for Konica Minolta just in between his rugby career when he was having a bit of a... Rusty always had a sabbatical, I think. Yeah. And he sold some devices for us. He was a fully employed salesperson at Konica Minolta Bloemfontein.
And he actually writes quite fondly about that time in his new book. So strong connection there as well. So I'm sure, like all South Africans, you're basking in the glory of another World Cup win. But you're an iconic brand. Just tell me a little bit more about Konica Minolta as a brand that has these over 150-year roots globally and then locally here in South Africa.
Yeah, I think the Konica Minolta brand, was initially seen as a photography brand. And they sort of diversified over the years and went into printing and MFPs early on in the journey. But the MFP business, or multifunctional printer business, became the biggest part of the business. And the photography business was sold off, but the brand, through photography and through printing, became a household brand. And we're very fortunate to manage the brand locally. So Konica Minolta South Africa manages the brand Sub-Saharan Africa, and we've got presence in Mozambique, in Namibia, in Botswana, in Swaziland. And obviously we've got a massive covering in South Africa made up of 18 of our own offices that we own and 46 dealer partners around the country.
A massive organization, huge footprint, and also an organization that has seen a whole lot of evolution and change in the MFP market, certainly in the camera market, which you exited some time ago as well. Just tell me a little bit more about how long you've been in the position for and what kind of evolution you've seen in the local market in that time.
Yeah, I started at Konica Minolta. It was actually a little bit of a story. I used to work for a brand called QMS, which was bought out by Minolta Worldwide. And off I went to Konica Minolta South Africa's head office on the 1st of April, 2001, thinking, well, let's see how this goes and give it a run,
No fools.
No fools. Let's just try it out. And 22 years later, I'm CEO now. I've been CEO since 2018, so it's 5 years. 1 September 2018 I started. And it's been an awesome journey. It really has been. I'm in a very fortunate position to manage a brand, but to manage people that make the brand. And I think if you get that right in your organization, you just got to take care of it. It's people make the difference. Brand is a brand, but the people drive the brand. And I'm fortunate to have great staff.
Yeah, that's very much out of the Rassie coaching manual as well.
Definitely, definitely. You can teach people a lot of things, but you can't teach them passion and drive and just that underlying inherent success that they've got to want. They've got to have that drive.
You talk about culture inside an organization that you've been now leading since 2018. Boy, I mean, if you look back over the last 5 years, who would have thought all of this change would have happened to the printing industry, COVID, people working from home, upending the office market? How have you managed through the last 5 years?
It's been an interesting journey. We won't call it a tough journey because we learned from everything in life. But the COVID sort of, let's call it the rugby pass, the hospital pass it was, wasn't it? COVID was really a hospital pass for us. We've never experienced anything like it before. So it wasn't something that you could refer to, anyone that's been down the road before or talk to talk to some of maybe your business mentors or anything like that. It was something that you had to learn. And we had to learn very quickly. I mean, it's on our doorstep in March, and we had to adapt and survive. And our industry is all about working from the office. Majority of our annuity income is generated in an office. It's not generated by work from home. Yeah. So we had to, adapt to survive. And we took a different approach. Our approach was, yes, we have to work from home, but we want to get our staff and get our people back to the office as soon as possible to drive the change and to drive a lot of people were afraid. They're afraid of the unknown. So we had to drive that and make sure that we controlled all of that by having our people in the office, showing that it's safe, showing that everything is okay to come back. And really, the only month of complete chaos we had was the month of April, because it's a month full of holidays, but it was also a month full of unknowns. And then we had to drive things like, which I never thought I'd have to drive as a CEO, a vaccination policy through staff. We had to make everyone safe, and we had to make decisions like, some people didn't want to vaccinate, but it was about all for one and one for all kind of approach, because I can't force my customer-facing staff, like my technical staff, delivery staff, to vaccinate because customers demanded it, and have the office staff not vaccinate. So we had to go through that journey, and it was a tough one. So it was more on the HR side where we had to manage it, the COVID impact. But on the customer side, a lot of customers started realizing if we stay at home and not open our offices, and we're also going to go out of business here. So people started embracing that things are different. There's a reset. I always say that COVID reset the world. It definitely reset the world. It reset the way we do things as a business. And it's also reset the way we interact with our customers. There's a lot more that you can do virtually now. There's a lot more acceptance of a phone call or an email to say, we need this or we need that from a client. Whereas in the past, it was all about your person arriving on site to ask the questions. We now have implemented, a lot of changes in our digital way of doing things. The way like a simple thing like phoning for a meter reading. Yeah. We now don't phone for meter readings in most areas unless the customer doesn't have a network. The device can automatically tell us what the meter reading is. The device can automatically tell us when we need to replace the toner.
Now, I was on the website earlier today because Konica Minolta is one of those brands that I think it's iconic, as I said, 150 years globally, 67 years here in South Africa, but it's still here and going strong in an industry where you would have thought digital would have kind of overwhelmed you and you've gone the way of maybe a Kodak, but you haven't. You've managed to stay relevant. And Satya Nadella often says, the CEO of Microsoft, that the key to longevity in business is managing to reinvent yourself. What would you say has been the key to Konica Minolta's longevity?
Yeah, through the COVID years, we also had a bit of a rethink on the business, and we had to look at what we needed to do differently. And yes, a device is a device, as a lot of people say, but it isn't. It's about the iconic device, the iconic brand Konica Minolta is, and what it stands for. It stands for reliability. It stands as a household name. It stands for people aspiring. You talk about brand aspirations. We're fortunate to have that with our brand. It's not just a printer. It's a Konica Minolta, and that's the difference. And reinventing ourselves, we had to look at how we service our clients differently. How do we deliver? How do we maintain that reliance that customers have? Because a printer, an MFP in an office is a critical part of the business. I see it in our own office. If a device needs toner or whatever it is, people are like flustered. They're looking for things to happen, and we can't print this. And it's not about we can't email it. It's about we need this printed. We need things to be different, and that's what we looked at. So we looked at the difference and the impact we have on a customer, and tried to make that as seamless and as pain-free as possible. That's our drive.
And you've got this, speaking of drives, and we're not going to talk about the drivers you can download from your website as well, but this is a philosophy of bringing shape to ideas.
Yes.
How does that drive Konica Minolta forward?
Yeah, we call it the GSTI approach, shortly, giving shape to ideas. So when that payoff line came out, it's a global payoff line, but it's more than just a tagline. When we analyzed it and we had a look at what do we do? It's about ideas are ideas. Everybody's got ideas all the time, but how do we bring those ideas to life? We're all about innovation. We're all about doing things differently. It's the only way you stay ahead of the pack. We are we're in a very contested space. We've got a lot of competitors, if you want to call it competitors, but we all go for the same thing ultimately. It's all about gaining market share. It's about gaining clients, but making sure the customers enjoy the experience.
And a lot of people will often throw stones at the innovators, but it's the innovators who bring home the trophy at the end of the day, Mark, isn't it?
Definitely.
The state of the market, the lay of the land in the print market at the moment, and I mean, we certainly feel it in media in terms of certain circulations going down and everything moving into the world of digital. How would you evaluate the state of the print market in South Africa post-COVID? I'm surely highly competitive. Are you concerned, though, at all about the state of the print market?
Yeah, if we look at leading up to COVID briefly, there's always been a difference in the market. So you've got the inkjet market, let's call it the home market. You've got the office market, which was predominantly a laser market, now become an MFP or MFD market. And then you've got the litho and the high-end print market. It's all about the ratios of the market and how that's changed. You know, the volume during COVID, the print market, home market increased drastically because everybody was doing everything at home. But now it's sort of back to where it needs to be. So the way we see the market going is the office market is going to start getting a lot more hybrid. So we've seen that shift. And then the next shift we're seeing is South Africa always sort of sets the landscape in our market amazingly. You know, I called on, when I go to international conferences, I speak about where the market in South Africa is, and it's seen to be one of the market leaders of the world. We are the biggest Konica Minolta non-owned business in the world.
Wow.
So, you know, all the countries we compete against compete for market share, like France and Germany are all Konica Minolta owned. We are proudly Bidvest company in South Africa, and we drive, we've driven innovation all our life. So we're very well respected by Konica Minolta worldwide. I actually just got a message from the president of Konica Minolta Europe on the rugby win. So they see us as they know us as rugby players, but they also know us as big Konica Minolta movers and shakers.
That's fantastic. They really are ambassadors, brand ambassadors are the Springboks, and so is Konica Minolta, punching above your weight in the global printing market. So how are you innovating? I mean, you mentioned innovation. Give me a few examples of the kinds of things you're innovating around inside the business.
Yeah, I think the key innovation at the moment is how you talk to customers and what you talk to customers about. You know, you don't go in trying to push a hardware product. You got to talk about their business processes. How can you make their lives easier? What can we do to incorporate and inculcate a different way of them working? So that's what we talk to our customers about. So we don't use a normal straightforward sales approach. You know, we use a consultative approach, adding value to the business. How can we make a difference? What can we add to our current solution that's going to make your life easier? That's the way we innovate. And from there, obviously, we design a solution. We design it for now and for a bit of growth. And we try our best to give our customers bang for buck.
Just lastly, there's obviously excitement in the air as we're starting to see some green shoots of recovery in the South African economy. Load shedding, I mean, yes, we're back to stage 2 this week, but it looks like the new electricity minister is doing a good job in getting some focus back in Eskom. So if we can start to say, you know, we're talking about an end to load shedding in the next 12 to 24 months, we start to be a little bit more bullish about the South African economy. What's your outlook for the next couple of years, and how are you going to play into that as Konica Minolta?
Yeah, our outlook is pretty positive. You know, load shedding was quite high at one point. It reached its peak. Hopefully that was the peak, let's call it, over the last 12 months. And you just got to work around it. You know, you got to advise your clients on what they need to do. It's very difficult in our market without electricity. You've got to have power. A lot of customers, you know, took the bull by the horns and went in and invested heavily in alternate solutions, which they will reap the benefits of as they go along the way, because a lot of the solar setups were there. A lot of the, you know, if you look at most of our guys, including ourselves, we had to put certain things in place for backup power. But it was never a replacement of power, and I think that's going to be important. It's going to be backup power. It's about sustainability, but it's about growing and supporting. You know, Eskom has got a lot to do, but you know, let's be fair to Eskom in a way. They've also got a lot of bills that are not being paid. So, you know, any business that doesn't collect its money on time will always get into a spot of bother. So we need to just look at that. Our outlook, you know, in medium-term outlook really is we just got to keep doing what we do well. We've got to focus on the customers that we have. We're very fortunate to have a direct and an indirect channel that I spoke about earlier. Our indirect channel is made up of our dealer partners. We've got to make sure that we keep them in business by giving them the right product at the right price. We need to make sure that we keep our customers that have already supported us on track, making sure that their profitability is there, making sure we deliver on service, we deliver on our logistical promise. And lastly, we've just got to make sure that our own staff deliver their bit. Everyone, I always talk about, everybody's got to do their bit in the business, and the company will always thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. The sum then being far greater than the individual parts that make up that unit. Again, Marc Pillay, great pleasure chatting to you, CEO of Konica Minolta. Thanks so much for sharing some more insights into the brand, iconic brand here in South Africa, and where you see yourself playing in the future. Take care.
Thank you, Michael.
Well, that wraps up our in-studio edition of Business Talk here on Business Tech. Be sure to subscribe for more content, printed or pushed straight into your inbox. From me, Michael Avery, take care.